Hello Internet, I'm Tim with the Weekly Wine Journal. I'm here with another fabulous episode with my friend Sandy, whom you might know from a previous episode.
Hey everybody, look who I found. Brian Loring Wine Company.
Are you normally a Cab Syrah kind of person?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see, what happened is you didn't change, these Pinots changed. This is a different style. We're picking riper, we're finding different spots, newer clones. It's a conscientious choice to maybe see what California, instead of saying Pinot Noir should be like Burgundy, it's what can California Pinot be? Now, some people, it's not for everybody. They are too big. The people who are into Burgundy, they go, man, I don't know about this. But the people who were California, Washington State, that like a bigger style red, these wines fit with that preference. But they're still Pinot. I mean, they still taste like Pinot, they smell like Pinot, they just have a little more stuffing to them. And it works for me because I eat big, rich food. I like, well, pretty much everything I eat at some point had a face. So it has to match with that. I need Pinot Noir that goes with steak, that goes with lamb, that goes with grilled pork. And don't get me wrong, I love Burgundy. I love all the old school California stuff. I buy a lot of it and I drink them. It's just, for me, where my preference and what we want to make, this is what we do. But those other wines are great. And in fact, some of the people that do processes completely different than I would ever do, like whole cluster and extended barrel aging, extended, I love those wines.
Well, let me ask you, one of my pet peeves with Pinot Noirs I don't like about them is they are too oaky or toasty. How much oak do your wines see?
Well, they about 1/3 new. It's all French oak. Pinot Noir is one of those, is probably the only variety that American oak doesn't work on, which is sad because French oak is so much more expensive. So it sees all French oak in about 1/3 new, 1/3 once used, and 1/3 twice used barrels.
6 months, a year on oak?
It's about 10 months.
10 months.
10 months.
You definitely don't get an oaky flavor to it. You definitely show a lot more fruit and softness.
Well,
which is what I like about it.
There's a famous quote that Bruno D'Alfonso, who was the winemaker at Sanford, is known for saying. It's that it's not that the wine's over oaked, it's that it was under wined.
Okay.
You know, if you've got the big wine, you need the oak to balance it out.
Hey, Brian, who's Gary?
Well, you'll notice it's Gary's Vineyard, but it's S apostrophe, plural possessive, which, you know, some people wonder what that is. There are two Garys, hence the S apostrophe, which might...
So it's not a misprint?
No, it's not a misprint. In fact, you know, people try to correct it all the time. There are Gary Pizzoni and Gary Francione, two amazing growers in the Santa Lucia Highlands of Monterey. And yes, I'm sorry, all you Italians out there, it is Santa Lucia, not Lucia, because it was named by the Spanish. And even Italians, Mr. Pizzoni told me that was the case.
So it is so.
There's a little tip for you. And just like in Oregon too, it's not Willamette, it's Willamette. Willamette, damn it. There's your little remember for that. But in Santa Lucia, probably, arguably, 3 of the most famous vineyards there. You have Pizzoni, owned by Gary Pizzoni. Gary Francione owns Rosella's, named after his wife Rosella's, and together they own Gary's Vineyard. The families have been in the valley for generations. It wasn't just that the two Garys went to school together, their parents went to school together, their grandparents went to school together. They have just tons of acres of row crops. They grow asparagus and cabbage and lettuce and everything you can imagine there. And then Gary Pizzoni got this crazy idea that he wanted to plant grapes. He thought he had, I guess, found Burgundy, and he thought he could reproduce some of the great wines of Burgundy there. And his dad thought he was nuts. And I guess as Gary will say, his dad asked, well, why do you want to plant these grapes? What's ever going to come of that? And Gary turned to him and said, well, Dad, it's because I've never gone to a dinner at a restaurant where they had an asparagus grower's dinner. And so it's like, there you go. And because of that, Gary is arguably one of the most famous and unarguably the craziest, most fun guy in the whole California Pinot Noir. The passion is unbelievable, and the fruit he grows is just amazing. We're so honored and so lucky to have been involved with these guys, both he and his partner Gary Francione. And so that will